Hello, and welcome to Dishing Up Nutrition's midweek segment called Ask a Nutritionist. I am Brittany Vincent, a registered and licensed dietitian. On today's show, brought to you by Nutritional Weight and Wellness, I will be answering a nutrition question we've received from one of our Dishing Up Nutrition listeners. So today's question is thoughts on taking electrolytes on a daily basis. I work out every morning and it feels like drinking water all day is not enough. Sometimes I still feel parched in the evening. Is it safe to add electrolytes daily? The short answer is yes, it is absolutely safe. And I'm really excited to talk about this today because I am finding more and more individuals that benefit from including electrolytes on a daily basis or a semi regular basis. So let's dig into some science first. What are electrolytes? That's the first question. Sodium, chloride, potassium, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, and bicarbonate are all electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals that conduct electrical charges in your body, and this allows the transmission of messages between cells. And I'm going to talk a lot about fluid balance today. And sodium and potassium are really the two key players in fluid balance. I want to talk about some other functions in the body that are supported by electrolytes: energy metabolism, conducting electricity to power the nervous system, producing and regulating hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, aldosterone, and antidiuretic hormone. Calcium and potassium are directly involved in ATP synthesis. And ATP is the energy of our cells. So that is really important. And then managing fluid balance. We are 60% water by weight, and being hydrated by drinking water is just not enough sometimes. You have to have adequate electrolytes on board to be properly hydrated. And that sodium and the potassium are critical for this. Regulating blood pressure, that is another important function of electrolytes. Regulating muscle contracting, including the heartbeat, and promoting restful sleep. So, who would benefit from this? If you work out regularly, especially if you get sweaty, or if you are just somebody that sweats a lot, you're outside in the summer, you likely benefit from adding some electrolytes in. Even if you aren't somebody that works out on a regular basis, they could still benefit you. So, here are some other reasons. If you are an individual that experiences headaches and migraines, clinically, I have seen individuals see improvement in them by introducing electrolytes. Personally, if I feel a headache or migraine coming on, I usually start drinking electrolytes and it does help. And the reason why the electrolytes could help could be two possible reasons. Blood pressure. Some individuals that experience headaches and migraines have low blood pressure, and adding electrolytes can actually increase it to a healthier level. The other piece is hydration status. So, as I kind of alluded to earlier, even if you're drinking adequate amounts of water, you have to have adequate sodium levels to hydrate your body. Essentially, salt helps you to use the water you have in your body more efficiently. Another reason would be muscle cramps. I had a client, this was years ago, that had restless leg syndrome. She had been on prescription medication for it for years, and it really disrupted her sleep. She got a poor night's sleep basically every single night because of her restless legs. We first talked about trying magnesium because typically that hugely benefits restless legs. That did not help her much at all. She didn't have iron deficiency, which would be another cause of cramps or restless legs. So then I recommended electrolytes. So she started taking them on a daily basis. Within a week, her restless legs were gone. So that could be another key piece. With cramps, restless legs, again, my first go to is magnesium and sometimes iron deficiency. If those two are not the cause of your cramps or restless legs, then I would recommend you try electrolytes. Blood sugar. If you are dehydrated, then your blood sugar is going to increase. One of my clients saw a benefit in many different areas by introducing electrolytes into her daily water consumption. But one of the benefits she did notice is her morning blood sugar reduced a little bit. Energy. So this is a huge one. People that eat a low carb diet and those that do intense exercise can really be at risk for electrolyte deficiency, and then they can experience a lot of fatigue as a result. If you're salt deficient, you're going to be tired, simply put. So, individuals who follow a low carb diet generally aren't consuming many foods that have much salt or sodium in them, and they're losing more sodium through their urine as well. So, adding electrolytes could really help. Sometimes you hear when people significantly reduce carbohydrates from their diet, the term carb flu is sometimes used because when people reduce their carbohydrates, often they go through this period of feeling really tired and just unwell. And a lot of that could be related to electrolyte status. If you are somebody that gets dizzy or lightheaded often, that could be related to blood pressure or dehydration. There's a condition called POTS that we are seeing clinically more frequently. And individuals with POTS do experience a lot of dizziness and lightheadedness. And we have seen that these individuals benefit from adding some electrolytes, specifically one that's higher in sodium. Excess urination. I hear this a lot from people, especially individuals that are drinking a lot of water. And there's a biochemical reason for this. So, sodium deficiency can impair secretion of a hormone called antidiuretic hormone, which can cause increased trips to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So, one of my clients would get really, really thirsty, even though she was drinking a ton of water throughout the day. And she would get especially thirsty at night, and she would take multiple trips to the bathroom every night. As a result, she's tired in the morning. Her sleep was not good. I mean, and it affected her on a daily basis. She also eats a lower carb diet. So, really, she was salt deficient. She added some electrolytes, completely life changing for her. She had significantly fewer trips to the bathroom at night. She was not getting that excess thirst, and she had more energy, which is pretty cool. I had mentioned earlier she was drinking more than enough water, which leads me to another point I want to make is that you can overhydrate yourself. And I do see this a lot. If you are drinking a lot of water, you're going to reduce the amount of sodium. I mentioned earlier, if you're salt deficient, you're going to be tired and your body is not actually getting hydrated. So you could experience a lot of that thirst. I had just talked about the nightly trips to the restroom by drinking too much water. So you'd actually be better off, sticking to, we talk a lot about half your body weight in ounces of water and possibly adding some electrolytes if you are somebody that feels like you're thirsty a lot, even though you're drinking enough water. Maintaining fluid balance is not just about water, it's also about the electrolytes that you have. When I talk to my clients about electrolytes, and sodium is a big key player with the electrolytes, some people are a little hesitant. They're like, "You want me to add more sodium?" And the answer is yes. I think that over the years, sodium has really been demonized, and we've been told to limit salting our food, really just limit any sources of salt or sodium that we're getting, which I think as a result has led people to be sodium deficient in their body. So the anti salt movement really started in the 60s. One of the first studies that prompted this was actually one done on animals, specifically rats. There have been lots of other studies done since then, A study from 2011 found in the Journal of American Medical Association found limiting sodium to 3 grams per day. These individuals had more heart attacks and strokes than those consuming more sodium. A 2014 meta analysis tells a similar story. Mortality and cardiovascular events were higher in folks consuming less than 2.6 grams of sodium per day. I think where some of this has gotten confused is we think of foods that contain a lot of sodium. Those are going to be the ultra processed foods, the frozen meals, the chips, the fast food. Yes, undoubtedly, those contain a lot of sodium. But with those, you're getting a lot of sugar. You're getting a lot of processed carbs, which turn to sugar in the body. We know that processed carbohydrates, sugar are really, really inflammatory for the body. And I think that it's the processed carbohydrates and the salt sometime that's really creating more of this concern with the processed food than the sodium. At Nutritional Weight and Wellness, we recommend consuming real foods. And when you're consuming real foods, you are eating a relatively low sodium diet. So I'm giving you permission to salt your food. And if you resonate with any of the reasons above that I talked about, you might benefit from adding some electrolytes. If you're unsure, one way that you could even start is just putting like a pinch of salt in your water and drinking that. And that for some people is enough to make them feel better. Really, low salt diets can be very damaging to the body. Your body will actually break down bone to maintain sodium levels in the blood. So, maintaining adequate sodium levels in your blood is extremely important for your entire body. I hope that you learned more about electrolytes today. I don't think that everybody necessarily needs to start consuming electrolytes on a daily basis. But if you resonated with some of the reasons that I talked about above, give it a try. If it doesn't work, then you just don't continue using them. So thank you so much for listening to Dishing Up Nutrition's Ask a Nutritionist. If you have a nutrition question you would like us to answer, we invite you to join our Dishing Up Nutrition Facebook community by searching Dishing Up Nutrition on Facebook. This private group is moderated by nutritional weight and wellness nutritionists and nutrition educators and provides our Dishing Up Nutrition listeners with a safe, supportive community to ask questions, share ideas, and get inspired. Once you're a member of our community, we invite you to join the conversation, share your questions with us. Please don't be shy. If you have a question, just ask. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.